Are you a student who feels like you don't have enough motivation to study? Or especially in the winter mornings when you're comfortably lying in your bed, wrapped in your blanket, you would rather sleep in rather than wake up and sit down to study? Or maybe you're the person who waits till the last day before the assignment is due to actually start working on it. Or perhaps you only study 2 months out of the 12 months before your exams. Well, if that sounds like you, then my friends, I think that you might be suffering from something called as laziness. But don't worry, because Bill Gates once said that he would rather hire somebody who is lazy for a particular job because the lazy person always finds the shortest route and the most efficient route to completing the tasks given. So in this video, I, Dr. Anuj Pachhel, will be helping you as a lazy student to maximize your studying effort whenever you feel like you are studying. So maybe that's just 2 hours in a day. I will help you maximize those 2 hours so that you can get more work done than most people do in 6 or 7 hours. Without any further ado, here's the ultimate guide for a lazy student to achieve maximum success. Number 1, do not underestimate the power of focused sprints. So there are basically 2 ways you can live your life. One is where you study every day, small steps every day. That's a very consistent way of living a life. But if you feel like that's not the life for you, where you don't want to be studying every day, you want breaks in between, you want to travel in between, you want to enjoy in between, and you don't want to open your books in between, then there is the other way for you. And that way is to have focused sprints in between your long journey. Let's say that you've got an exam coming up in 6 months. Study only for these 6 months very hard. Like give up everything, give up your laziness, give up everything. And in these 6 months, study as much as possible. Right after the exam is done, the remaining 6 months, stop studying. Just stop studying and chill out, enjoy your life, live your life, travel as much as you want, and just enjoy everything. So that's what I like to call focus sprints. Now in my personal life, I've got a lot of focus sprints which I took. So I remember when I was in second year MBBS, I wanted to build my application called as Axon. For building Axon, I had to manage my second year MBBS studies. I also had to manage content creation, making the application itself, and also shooting videos for Axon. It was a lot on my plate. So guess what I did? I gave up everything for a month. Like literally going out, sleeping, making videos, studying for my MBBS exams, gave up literally everything and focused on just one task at hand. And I ended up making more than 100 videos for Axon within just 30 days. So that was a focused sprint. And once that was done, I was free with it. So never underestimate the power of focused sprints. Point number 2 is always start with the easiest task. That's right. If you're a lazy student, then the biggest hurdle that you might face is starting off. And it is still to this day one of the most biggest hurdles that I face on a day-to-day basis. I know that I have to do this task, but I'm not able to start it. And starting is the hardest part of anything that you do. Be it content creation, be it studying, be it making videos, be it making music, whatever it is, going to the gym, it's all the hardest part is starting. That's the first mountain that you have to climb. How do you find the easiest task? Well, it depends on what kind of activity you are chasing. If it's something related to studies, start with the topic which you find easier. And once you do, take up the hard task subsequently. Number 3, always use the smart study techniques. So I've made several videos in the past about many study techniques that you can watch. And please remember, since you are a lazy student, you have to maximize the time that you are on your desk. So use everything that you possibly know of. You can use setting up a timer, you can start a Pomodoro, you can use the forest application, the 80-20 rule, the active recall, the spaced repetition, the mind maps, the flow charts, diagram practicing, Feynman technique, everything that you know. All these smart study techniques are the ones which you should be using, because we have to do a lot in a short amount of time, and conventional study techniques don't allow you to do that. I've made a complete video on 9 of the most favorite study techniques that I use, and I'll make sure to link it down below in the description. Point number 4, use summarization techniques. If you're not getting that much time to study, let's say that you're getting only 2 hours per day, what you have to make sure is that some amount of that time you are actually spending revising the old concepts which you have learned, otherwise you'll forget it. Maybe last month I studied something of immunology, and it's been a month since I studied that. I'll definitely forget a lot about it without revising it. So the concept of summarizing is pretty simple, that whenever you are sitting down and studying, make sure you take a few small notes, and in those small notes write down only the most high yield, important, forgettable points. And once you have that in your notebook, every day before you sit down and study, just make sure that you read those few things which you have written down. It will keep your high yield, forgettable points in your memory for a long time, plus you're spending some time in spaced repetition, which is a proven way to increase your memory. Number 5 is combining the activities which you don't like with the activities that you do like. For example, I hate to study forensic medicine. I absolutely hate it. But what I do like to do is to clean my room, because I love to be organized. I love to have everything in a very neat and organized space. Everything should be symmetrical. So I love doing that part. So how do I combine these 2 activities together? Well, that's where the magic of your own voice notes comes into play. So what you have to do is, whenever you're reading, let's say forensic medicine, take out your phone, open the voice recorder, and try to record whatever the things that you're understanding. Maybe you can record something like, okay, there are 4 types of injuries. There is abrasion, abrasion, there is contusion, there is laceration, there is incision, and these are the various factors of all of these injuries. Just put a voice note, right? And in that voice note, try to summarize whatever you're reading. Now what you have got is you have got a small voice note of your own self that you can listen to at any time. And now to revise forensic medicine, rather than going through the tedious process of flipping the pages, and I can just put on my earphones, start cleaning my room and listening to whatever past me has to say. That way I'm revising everything while also doing some other task I love. So that way I was combining two things which I did not like. One was doing cardio, of course, and the second was medicine, which I loved. So doing these two things together made me accomplish both the goals. Point number 6 is organizing your study space. Now I don't mean organizing by that clean your desk and keep everything symmetrical. I'm talking about the fact that make it more functionally usable. That means if you're sitting on your desk, if you look on the right side, there should be some notes of some particular things that you like. On the left side, there should be some diagrams that you feel are important. In the front, if you look, like there might be some criteria that you have to learn, some equations that you have to learn, so that once you sit on your desk, even if you're procrastinating, even if you're scrolling your phone and you accidentally look up, by the virtue of just looking up, you are able to revise something. So yeah, you optimize your study space for visuals and make it very, very functional. Number 7 is study with friends and have an accountability partner. So during my NEET PG, I had one person who was my accountability buddy as well as my study friend. Without them, I would not have cleared the exam in the first place. And the basic concept of the accountability partner is that you have given each other goals. Maybe I have told you, okay, today I will do forensic medicine, I will study the types of injuries, and they have told me that they will study immunology. Now it is our duty to keep our partner studying. So that means it is my responsibility that my partner studies immunology today, and it is their responsibility that I study the injuries today. And throughout the day, whenever you're talking with them, you can keep on updating them, okay, this is what I've read, this is what I've understood, and this is what is left. That way, the entire day, even if you're a lazy student, by the virtue of pushing each other, you will both end up doing a lot of studies. Point number 8 is to set simple goals. Do not set your goals like I want to complete medicine in the next 20 days. No, that's not how it works. Mostly for people, it does not work. What you have to rather do is to set yourself small goals. That means I will study. That means I'll study hematology for the next 3 days. I'll study rheumatology for the next 4 days. I'll study CNS for the next 7 days. That's how you do this. When you have small goals like this, it's easier to follow. So I take one-on-one mentorship sessions, and one of the common things which a student asks me is that give me a timetable that I need to follow. And if you're an MBBS student, I give you an exact timetable of day wise. Okay, 17th ko ye karna, 18th ko, 19th ko, 20th ko. So I basically give them an entire timetable of what they have to do each day. By giving them this timetable, I simplify their day-to-day life, that in the morning they know what they have to do. And to every student which I've given this one timetable for, they have all come back to me in another session and told me, sir, this was so amazing, please give us timetable for another month. And so we make a timetable for another month. So the idea is that if you set simple realistic goals for yourself, it's easier to complete them, and it's much easier to follow them throughout, rather than something vague like, okay, I'll make this, I'll do this subject, etc. So I hope I've cleared that part. Point number 9 is very important, that is reward yourself after each time you are successful. You can go out for a walk, talk to your parents, watch a movie, complete that anime that you've always wanted to watch. Whatever it is, this reward yourself after a successful study session, because you have accomplished something good and you deserve to be rewarded for it. Over time, this will tell your brain that it is always good to study for a bit, and then you can claim your reward. It's sort of like gamification of your life, if you say. Lastly, point number 10 is to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Trust me, more than 1.4 million students have subscribed, and they are all gaining good high quality study tips by watching my videos. And if you feel like this video was worth it, definitely make sure to hit that red subscribe button and become the member of the 10 AM club. Alright, that was all my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's Dr. Anuj Pachhel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.